Queen begins with tension and chaos as King Cheoljong dives into the lake to rescue Queen Kim So-yong after she falls into the water. As he pulls her out, he notices a carved message on a nearby rock, her suicide note from the past. The moment is heavy with realization the queen had once tried to end her life here. When she finally opens her eyes, the queen, or rather, the modern chef Jang Bong-hwan inside her, is not grateful but furious. She shouts angrily, confused and frustrated that she has been saved again. To her, this rescue feels like a trap. Another reminder that she is still stuck inside someone else's body and a life she never chose. Back at the palace, her attendants panic as news spreads. Lady Choi and Hong Yin, her loyal maids, are overwhelmed, convinced that the queen has miraculously survived a second suicide attempt. They whisper that it must be heaven's will that she has returned. Meanwhile, Bong-hwan sulks in disbelief. He feels doomed, trapped forever in Hosean, and angry that the king ruined what he thought was his last chance to return to his real life. But the palace's calm doesn't last long. Soon, the atmosphere turns darker when the king's concubine, who had recently been kidnapped and brought back, is found dead under mysterious circumstances. A shadowy figure is seen ending her life quietly. Her death shocks the court, but no one knows who killed her. Behind the scenes, Minister Kim Jwa-gyun's political schemes deepen, and his influence spreads further across the royal administration. As the investigation remains silent, the camera reveals a clue, the face of the killer connected to Minister Kim's faction, confirming that the murder was part of a much larger plan. Meanwhile, the Queen Dowager, calm and calculating as always, visits another royal concubine, the one who once served the late king. She praises her archery skills and offers her an arrow as a gift. But the gesture is far from innocent. Mister, it's a warning disguised as a compliment, a silent message that the dowager knows exactly who she's dealing with. The two women speak in polite tones, but every word carries threat and manipulation. Inside her chambers, the queen tries to understand what truly happened before her fall into the lake. She begins asking her maids about the night of the supposed suicide, trying to gather fragments of So-yong's past. She wants to know why the queen would have wanted to die. Her maid Hong Yin answers timidly, while the elder head concubine overhears and reacts with anger. She accuses the queen of speaking about forbidden things, witchcraft and curses, showing how superstition still rules the court. The queen, stuck between confusion and curiosity, grows more determined to uncover the truth. She soon meets with the Queen Dowager herself, and the meeting turns into a battle of words. The dowager's polite voice hides venom. Her tone is heavy with warning. Bong-hwan, completely lost in her formal, twisted speech, barely keeps up. When he leaves the room, he realizes that if he doesn't take control of the rumors surrounding his suicide, he might become a target again. At the same time, the king attends a meeting with his ministers. They bring up the queen's supposed suicide attempt, treating it as fact. But Cheoljong firmly dismisses it as rumor. He defends her publicly, though he is privately unsure what to believe. His expression reveals a mix of confusion, guilt, and a growing curiosity toward the unpredictable woman who seems both familiar and completely new. While the ministers whisper, the queen herself begins to plan. Using her modern sense of logic and a bit of marketing genius, she decides to turn gossip into her weapon. She recruits the palace servants who deliver food and messages, turning them into her secret delivery team of rumors. Through them, she spreads a new story that she didn't try to kill herself at all, but instead fell into the water while trying to save the king and his concubine. The story catches fire instantly. Within hours, people across the palace are whispering about the queen's bravery and devotion. Bong-hwan, proud of his quick thinking, smirks in satisfaction. For the first time, the queen's reputation improves, not through truth, but through clever manipulation. Away from the palace, the older head concubine storms into the forest, screaming into the air to release her anger. Her outburst is dramatic, even a little funny, showing the absurdity of palace life and the suffocating emotions it hides. Later, she visits a craftsman in the city who sells strange foreign objects. One of them, a small telescope amuses her greatly. She laughs as she peers through it, a rare moment of freedom and silliness in a life otherwise filled with jealousy and politics. In another corner of the story, the queen's cousin and the royal soldier, who secretly loves one of the concubines, share a private conversation. Their exchange is full of unspoken emotions, memories of a time before the palace walls separated them. It's a quiet, human moment amid the palace's deception, reminding viewers of how personal every political move truly is. The episode builds toward its final sequence with the king. He meets with the same soldier who once received orders to assassinate the queen, an old plan meant to break the Kim family's control over the throne. But during their conversation, it becomes clear that something has changed. The king's tone is uncertain. His anger toward the queen has softened. The man who once saw her as an enemy now hesitates to harm her. When the soldier asks if the plan should continue, Cheoljong's expression hardens. He cannot give the command. His silence says everything. The king no longer wants the queen dead. His heart has begun to change. The episode ends quietly but powerfully. The queen sits in her chambers, unaware that her quick wit and modern schemes have already shifted the political balance of the palace. The king, now full of doubt and conflicted emotions, looks out into the night. Between revenge, guilt, and growing affection, both find themselves trapped in a web of misunderstanding that is slowly turning into something much deeper. In the end, something happened when the spell that the queen wanted to work after she asked the dowager princess to make it for her actually started working. And the chef started waking up in the hospital in our future life, and at the same time, there was shock everywhere in the balance after seeing the queen fighting death.